Welcome back to the Build a Nation Challenge. Our 19th season is coming up, and we can be extremely happy about last season's Faroe Islands appointment and performance. On the other hand, I feel like we need to take a chance with B68. We need to get into European competitions, and that will cost us more in wages. Starting with, of course, looking at our current squad for next season, or at least those who are part of the plan right now, with the current tactic. Obviously, all of this could change. Well, we definitely need goalkeepers, as we don't have any right now. Latinen was running out of contract, is 33, and is leaving, so we likely need a new central defender of decent quality. A better backup fullback on the right-hand side might be a good idea, but I'm okay with Gudmundsson being first choice, or if someone of his quality can share the workload. Also, the inside forward on the right-hand side definitely needs to be fixed. I don't see Palmason as a starter. Up front, I think we need a better striker. Yes, they're both half decent, and Ostergaard is an academy player, but if we're to step up, we need to be pragmatic about these things. But of course, that depends on whether I can find players for those specific roles. As I said, the formation is definitely up for debate if I find some crazy good players for odd positions or get a fancy idea. It's a World Cup qualifier year for the national team, and we've been drawn into a group with Austria, Greece, Hungary, and Portugal. What's our ambition here? Well, I think we might be good enough to take second spot, but third is more realistic. Portugal will likely win the group though. Alright, here we go guys. The transfer window is open. As always, a couple of players have been released, most notably good old Bjornsson, who didn't play much last season. It seems he's already retired and is possibly trying to become a manager. Now, on to the new signings. First, a new striker, Klaus Kruse, a 22-year-old who probably won't be a starting option. But I have a plan for him, and I think he'll get plenty of playing time. We needed goalkeepers, and we got one, Marius Busmic, a 22-year-old Lithuanian who's very likely going to be our first choice goalkeeper. He seems pretty good, so I'm expecting this to be a big signing for us. We've also signed Noah Kurvinen, who we loaned 2 seasons ago, on a permanent deal. He's still only 21 and will be a good addition to our other 3 very young defensive midfielders. We're definitely stacked in that area now. Next up is possibly the most unnecessary signing, Charles Abaji Sarpay, a 24-year-old Ghanaian left-back. Basically, he and Askau are about the same quality, one slightly better defensively, the other better going forward, so they'll rotate. We also needed a backup goalkeeper, and Hilmar Thor Ingvarsson is actually not that. Well, I signed him before Busmic as the first choice, so I've given myself a bit of a headache with both wanting playing time. We might need to rotate to keep them happy. Mirko Mustafic is one of our biggest and possibly best signings of this window. He's a wingback, but I plan to use him slightly differently. This should solidify our fullback areas on both sides. Potentially, Agron Osmani could also be the best signing. He's the 23-year-old attacking midfielder, but I think we might end up playing him on the wing. It might not be perfect for him, but it could be best for us. And the last one for now is Andriy Bulakh, a 29-year-old Ukrainian striker who definitely has the stats to be a decent pressing forward. We're not playing with a pressing forward, are we? Well, yes, I really love my asymmetric system from our days with Suðuroy and now with the national team. So yes, we'll use it. Both because I can move players around to fit it, and some of the players we've signed suit this system. Someone like Crowley can be moved back to be a very good central defender. Ken Beauregard can play either as an inverted wingback or central midfielder. Gudmundsson is good enough to be moved forward and become a winger. So, yeah, this is starting to look like a pretty good move and a pretty good squad. Maybe the weakest spot is that our defensive midfielders aren't really Segunda Volante types, but that's okay. I really hope this pays off, as this new team isn't cheap. Though we do have a small piggy bank of 1 million, it'll run out quickly with 32,000 in wages every week. The projection shows us that much. Guys, I completely forgot to check up on our teams in Europe. So, in the Conference League, Vikingur played all 6 games with 2 wins and 4 losses, finishing 27. Not terrible, but not great either, about what I expected. But Suðuroy in the Europa League did better, finishing 20th with 3 wins, 4 draws, and 2 losses. Nice! Suðuroy got lucky with the draw, facing Servette, and they also managed to get through the knockout playoff. Another preseason is done and dusted, but apparently the game thinks we've gotten significantly worse this year. That doesn't make sense, because this doesn't. While the game might think we'll get relegated, I think we'll be a top 2 club, and more importantly, a club that'll play a lot of games in Europe. Okay, so this is our second match, and I'm both confused and honestly worried. As you can tell from this result against Vikingur, we're definitely nowhere close to being a top 2 club yet, but we're spending money like we are. Anyhow, the transfer window is closing, so we're left to our fate. Suðuroy lost in the round of 16 against Monaco, but they had a decent run, so I think we'll see a good points haul from this campaign. Half a season later, we've got 10 wins, 2 draws, and 3 losses in this time. We're sitting second in the league, but only on scoring 1 more goal than Klaksvíkar, who are third with the same points and goal difference. Vikingur also looks solid on 28 points, so we've got a 3-horse race for second place. It's doubtful Suðuroy will drop off, though it could happen. In any case, it's pretty much like last season, with 4 big teams of similar strength. But things aren't all fun and good times. I'm actually very worried. I thought we'd have done better than we have, and we also got beaten by Vikingur in the quarterfinal again. I don't currently believe we're the second best team in the Faroe Islands. Speaking of which, the national team has also been in action with 3 matches in the qualifiers, and we can't be happy. 2 points after 3 matches, and in all of those games, we were the better team in terms of chances created, expected goals, and so on. Being last in the group is extremely frustrating and unfortunate. Back to B68 and our finances. Here's the thing. Well, I'd love to go out and buy better players. I'm not sure we can take that risk unless we want to see this club burn through cash without a care. I think we're already over the limit, so we need to work with what we've got unless we sell someone for big money. So yes, the transfer window is open, but we might be stuck with what we have. To be honest, we should probably try to cut our expenses if anything. Alright, some good news, the coefficient points update. We got 7,750 points from the last campaign, which is a pretty good amount and the second highest in our bank. So I think we can be very happy with this, and we've kept our 18th spot for now. The Meistaradeildin has also broken into the top 20 of European leagues, which means clubs can attract better players, with bigger sponsors and TV deals. This might also be why we're struggling a bit with B68, as the competition is fiercer now. There we go. Nothing sold, nothing bought. Meanwhile, Suðuroy still has money to bring in incredible talent for significant sums. Oh boy, we really need to get into the Conference League this season. Otherwise, B68 might be in big financial trouble. Things aren't looking great, as we've been drawn against a tough opponent in Zoria Luhansk. Luck isn't on our side at the moment. Okay, first leg, away from home, and we're definitely not favorites here. But if we can get a draw or not lose by more than 1, that'd be decent. I might have overestimated Luhansk, as we were the better team in the first half. And we also got a goal just before halftime from Bulakh, who, funny enough, was actually born in Luhansk. We're given a penalty in the 61st minute, and Histrup, our young central midfielder, converts it into a 2-goal lead. And in stoppage time, Sigurdsson makes sure that I and the media were wrong about this matchup. Job done. Full time. 3-0 to us. Yeah, I was wrong. That was a very good and unexpected performance by the team, and it'll definitely make the second leg easier. In the second leg, we killed the game with 3 quick goals within 10 minutes and finished it off with an 8-1 aggregate result. It was never a close game, though I'm still slightly surprised by how much better we were. Well, I thought Luhansk was a problem. So how about Maccabi Haifa in the third round? Definitely one of the tougher opponents we could get, and we need to play 2 good matches to get through them. Only Suðuroy is in the Conference League with us here in the second round, and they had a pretty easy matchup, getting through without any problems. Vikingur won their first round in the Europa League, which I always forget can happen when they win the cup, but nice for them. But we've seen this before, AA Gent knocking out one of our teams, and they did it again in the second round. Vikingur will then take part in the third round of the Conference League. In the Champions League second round, Klaksvíkar was knocked out, which is very disappointing. But that also means they'll drop down and play the third round in the Europa League. Here we go. The first leg at home against Maccabi Haifa. Hopefully, a very positive result. We looked best after 20 minutes, and Mustafic put in a brilliant cross that found Sigurdsson, who scored the goal. And Kronberg scores a second goal after 31 minutes. This is exactly what we hoped for. Bulakh comes off the bench, gets into the action, and bang. We've got a 3-goal lead now. Yes, please, 3-0 full time. A very, very positive result. But don't get it twisted. We're lucky they didn't score, and the second leg won't be easy. But this 3-goal lead is fantastic for our chances to reach the playoffs. No, I was wrong again. The second leg wasn't nearly as hard as I thought. Yes, they improved. But that doesn't matter when we score 4 more times and make it 7-2 on aggregate. So again this season we've got a chance in the playoffs. In the playoff, we're up against Hibernian. On paper, I'd say they're favorites. But on paper, they should also be as good as Maccabi Haifa. So who knows? Let's check up on the other teams. Vikingur is also through to the playoffs, and so is Suðuroy. So we've got 3 teams in the playoffs. That's pretty decent. Over in the Europa League, Klaksvíkar also managed to win the 3rd round. So we actually have 4 teams in total. Lovely stuff. These 2 games against Hibernian are likely the most important in our 4 years with B68. The facts are simple. We need the money from the Conference League, otherwise, this ship might not sink, but we'll definitely need to make cuts. Things aren't starting well. They get a free kick and score the first goal after 24 minutes. We hit back in the second half, and the tables have turned. Mustafic with a nice run, and cross finds Asko in front of goal. Full time, 1-1. Not the result we wanted in our home game. While they were really good early on, we were definitely the better team overall. But I think this picture will be reversed for the second leg. I hit continue one too many times, but we're moving into the second leg. Make no mistake, how this goes will determine how this club is managed in the future. So, fair to say, it's an extremely important game. 54 minutes in, and this game feels like one where 1 goal might be enough to win it. Unfortunately, it's not us scoring. This is really, really bad. And there it is. They score their second goal 71 minutes in. Now we need to score 2. And I'm not seeing that happening. Alright, 81 minutes in, and Kronberg's corner finds Sigurdsson. So there's a very small chance for a comeback here. In stoppage time, after a very long highlight, Bulakh scores a goal. But of course, it's ruled out for offside. And so it ends, 3-2 on aggregate to Hibernian. That's the 3rd time in a row we've lost in the playoffs. The difference is that we're spending 3 times the amount of wages now compared to the first time. Looking at the other teams, Vikingur got unlucky drawing Aston Villa, but actually made a decent effort to try and beat them. In the end, Premier League money wins. Suðuroy, on the other hand, had a comfortably easy match and got through to the league phase. Over in the Europa League, Klaksvíkar was beaten by Slavia Prague, but the playoff here does give access to the Conference League for the losing team. So we do have 2 teams in Europe, but only in the lowest tier competition. I don't think we can be happy, neither for the nation, nor for B68. The season is coming to an end for B68, and if we look past all the friendlies and European games we played in the second half of the season, we have 8 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses in this period. That gives us 55 points, 3 less than last season, in 4th place, 1 point behind Klaksvíkar, with quite a few points up to 2nd place Vikingur. Obviously, Suðuroy is still running away with the league by some distance. When it comes to our players, we can definitely be disappointed. But let's check up on who actually did well, starting with our own academy player, Marcus Ostergaard. He was not only the top-rated player with a 750 average, but also the top scorer with 15 goals in 25 matches. Agron Osmani is the top assister with 11 assists and also scored 6 goals in 30 matches. I'm afraid to say it, but he's also one of the higher-rated players at 6.95. But if we're to find some light in an otherwise poor-performing squad, it would be Michael Kronberg, who managed a 7.1 average rating with 9 assists and 10 goals in 29 matches. Looking at the squad, we only have 2 players above a 7 rating, the lowest we've seen in our 19 seasons, and 9 players below 6.8, which I'd call unacceptable. So, what's the reason? Well, I think there are 3 main reasons. First, the tactic. While we know it works, we probably lacked enough players suited for the specific roles to make it viable. Second, the players we've brought in, not just this season but previously, might cost us more in wages, but didn't really increase the quality all that much, instead just increasing squad depth. And third, the other 3 big clubs simply have more money to spend on players than we do. They've all been getting big payouts from European competitions, while we haven't. Yet, we're spending like we have. Talking of finances, yes, we're positive right now. But this 1.4 million will turn red quickly next season without further income. We might be able to sustain the same wage bill next season, but increasing it significantly probably isn't advisable right now. I wish I could say I had some positive news, but even our national team isn't looking great in the World Cup qualifiers. We've played 3 more matches, a loss to Portugal, fair enough, a much-needed win against Greece, and then a very disappointing loss to Austria. Well, at least we're not 5th in the group, but we might be after the next 2 games. We don't really have anything to play for, so I guess we'll just get this over with. And there we have it, a decent enough result against Hungary with a draw, and only letting in 1 goal against Portugal. We maintain our 4th spot, so at least we didn't come in last. But I don't think we can be happy, more content than anything. Not the season we hoped for, neither for B68, the national team, nor the other clubs in European competitions. We seem to be regressing rather than progressing this year. We moved to B68 with a 5-season rebuild in mind. Next season is that 5th season, but I think we have to consider it closer to a 10-year plan now. I can't help but feel that my move to give up on Suðuroy and the loan farm was the wrong move in terms of building the nation.